Hi, this video is all about trapezoids. Trapezoids just like this one. You should have a formula sheet that has the formula for all different kinds of two-dimensional shapes, including the trapezoid. So a trapezoid is a trapezoid when it has four sides, and a pair of the sides, two of the sides that are opposite of each other are actually parallel. Now, and this one here we call an isosceles trapezoid, so that the two other legs are actually congruent, but not all trapezoids are like that. What makes it a trapezoid is the two of the sides opposite each other are parallel, exactly two. If you have more than two that are parallel, then you would have a parallelogram, and then you would have two sets of opposite sides that are parallel. But since you only have the one pair of parallel sides, it's called a trapezoid. So to find the area of a trapezoid, and that's what we're going to focus on now, you would need these dimensions. You need to know the length of the two sides that are parallel to each other, and you would need to know the height. And the height is the distance between those two parallel sides, like how far apart are they? That's the height. And that always needs to be a perpendicular distance. So you need to look for the little box here to tell you it's a right angle. So now what we have here is an example of a trapezoid. Another one that's an isosceles trapezoid. Well, I'm not really sure. This side looks a little bit longer than this side. But we don't really know how long it is. We only know that the top base is 6 and the bottom here is 12, and that the height is 4. So this is the height here. So to find the area, what you're going to do is you're going to use this formula. What you're really doing is you're taking this right here, you're actually taking the average of the bases. So you're adding these two numbers together, and then you're dividing by 2 or taking half of them. That's really finding the average. Because normally if you had like a rectangle, right, then you would find the area by doing the base times the height. But the difference between a rectangle and a trapezoid is like this part here. I'll show you like this way. It's almost like they took a piece of it off like this and then took this piece here and added it over here. So they removed this section and put it here. So to make the trapezoid. So because of that, you're going to kind of add these back together and then divide by 2 to make it back into a rectangle, if that makes any sense. There's lots of different videos and things that show where this formula came about. I'm just kind of giving you a rough idea, but you don't really need to know why it is the way it is to be able to use it. It just sometimes can be really interesting to understand where it came from. But anyway, moving on, we're going to then just apply the formula. So the base 1 and the base 2, it doesn't matter which one is which, but we're going to use 6 as the base 1, and we're going to use 12 as the base 2. And then the height, though, the height is distinguishable. It's the distance between the two parallel bases, like how far apart are they? And in this case, that's 4. You just have to look for that H, that line here with the little box. Okay, so I'm going to now, I rewrote the formula, now I'm going to substitute. So I'm going to substitute in the things that I have. The B1 is 6. That looks like a B. The B2 is 12. And then the height is 4. And I'm going to reconstruct the formula around it. So I'm going to put back the parentheses and bring down that half because it's still there. And now I just need to compute that. So I would put that in a calculator, and I would get 36 meters squared. So there it is, the area of that trapezoid. So here's a worksheet that you have in your with your folder with your stuff, and this worksheet at the top it says HW, not HW past. That's really old. I just copied an old worksheet, so you can just ignore that. But you can see they have several different trapezoids. So every shape on this worksheet is a trapezoid. They don't all look the same. Some of them are a little different. Like this one here, the side is the height, because this side here is it's perpendicular, and this one here, the sides, this is your base and this is the base. So the parallel sides are actually on the side, not on the top and bottom. But all of them are trapezoids, and all of them you can use the same formula to find the area. It says do each exercise below, find your answer in the answer columns, and notice the letter next to it. Look for this letter in the string of letters near the bottom and cross it out each time. So when you find your answer, you cross it out on the bottom. Anyway, you're finding the area. So you're finding the area of all these trapezoids. So let's say we look at number 2 here, and I'm going to find the area. I'm going to use the same formula every time. Equals half times the height times the sum of the bases. Now, if you remember before in the other part of the video, I actually had the H on the end, but it doesn't matter because I'm multiplying. So the commutative property of multiplication says that you can multiply in any order. So I can rearrange these 3 parts in any order I want. So I'm going to do this second one here. The bases are 9 and 16. Those are the parallel sides. And the height is 6. So next I'm going to substitute. So I substituted the values into this formula, and you look how tiny it has to be. So I really suggest that when you do this, rather than just trying to do everything on this worksheet, that you just have a paper where you write out all of your steps and show your work for yourself, because it's just so smushy here, and you're really not a lot of room. Next, I'm going to put this in a calculator, and I'm going to find the product. So I have 75 inches squared as the area. And if I look down on the bottom, I see right here, M says 75 inches squared. So that means that I'm going to cross out all the M's. So everywhere in the bottom that I see M, I'm going to cross that out. And I only see one. Maybe you see another one, but I only see one. So that's how that's going to work. And if you ever had more than one of the same letter and you're crossing it out, you cross it out everywhere. Okay, so that's how you're going to do that problem. The other problems, if you get to 7, 8, and 9, there's no shape, but they're telling you with the base 1, base 2, and the H, so you're just using the same formula. And you're going to substitute in what they have for H for the H, and then base 1 for the first base, and base 2 for the second base, and just do the formula. And then for the down here, when you get down to 10, 11, and 12, you're working off of the shape, and the area, the top here is not a trapezoid. The top is a rectangle. So remember the area, so the top, you're going to do base times height because it's a rectangle, but everything else is a trapezoid. So anyway, give that a shot, see how you do, and the answers will eventually be posted for you to check. And have a great day.